Astral vibrations. It is common knowledge that the energy of all life on Earth is transmitted across space from the Sun. Furthermore, we are also taught that all physical bodies exert a gravitational influence upon all other physical bodies, independent of whether or not there are other physical bodies between them. Then again, energy is propelled to far distant points by radio. Yet in spite of the general recognition of these facts, the great scientific men of the world are quite unagreed as to the nature of light, gravitation, and radio. How then am I to explain still another form of energy which, like that commonly recognized as coming from the sun, has a wide variety of influences? Like gravitation is unhampered by passing through obstacles, and like radio is capable of conveying intelligence. Such a form of energy is astral vibration. Not so long ago, scientific men were agreed that light is the ether moving in transverse waves. But even as the chemistry of the 19th century has been displaced by entirely new conceptions, so we find physics and mechanics and geometry also in the throes of revolution. This started with the apparent verification of Einstein's theory of relativity by the eclipse observations of May 29, 1919, and September 21, 1921. And it has been gaining momentum since through the theory's apparent verification by all the experiments that thus far have been devised to test its validity. It may be pointed out that the test of any theory is its ability to predict new phenomena and to correct all known phenomena in the field which it covers. Einstein's special theory of relativity may ultimately fall, just as the recently accepted theories of chemistry, those of geometry, those even of mechanics, as well as those of biology, have fallen in the face of new discoveries. But at the present moment, Einstein's special theory meets the above-mentioned tests better than any other advanced in the realms of mathematics and physics. And in the same manner, the theory of astral substance and astral vibration covers the field of biology, astrology, and psychic phenomena better than any yet set forth. No other theory has been forthcoming satisfactory to explain a mass of carefully collected astrological, biological, and psychological facts. The theory of astral substance and astral vibration, however, does adequately explain all the known facts of astrology, of psychic phenomena, of biology, and of psychology. And at the same time, in each of the sciences mentioned, it has been able to predict new phenomena, such as, for instance, the influence of certain positions of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto upon life before such positions had ever actually been observed, and the possibilities and apparent limitations of divination. But it is not to be supposed that the theory of astral substance and astral vibration, as here set forth, may not in time need considerable revision to keep pace with new conceptions, such as that suggested in the final paragraph of Chapter 3 of The Evolution of Physics, by Albert Einstein and Leopold Infeld. The theory of relativity stresses the importance of the field concept in physics, but we have not yet succeeded in formulating a pure field physics. For the present, we must still assume the existence of both field and matter. And while the astral field concept may take precedent in the future, for the present we must continue to speak both of astral substance and astral vibrations. This pure field concept relates to Einstein's general theory, the special theory of relativity, which is now taught in most universities as fundamental to understanding physics, does not make it a necessity. And as we will have repeated occasions to refer to this special theory of relativity, its present standing in university circles should be established. For this purpose, let me quote from an article by H.P. Robertson, Ph.D., Professor of Mathematical Physics, Princeton University, which appeared in June 1939 issue of Scientific American magazine. In view of these developments, one may say that at present the special theory of relativity is one of the most thoroughly accepted and most firmly established doctrines of modern physics. It has permeated the field of mechanics, electromagnetism, including optics, and atomic physics. While it may appear desirable to have further direct checks on the validity of its mechanical aspects, a deviation from the predicted effects would constitute a most puzzling and, at least temporarily distressing, jolt for modern physics. This special theory of relativity holds that physical velocities cannot exceed that of light, and that anything moving with the velocity of light no longer possesses length, has infinite mass, and so is practically impervious to the pull of gravitation, and that for it, time has come to a standstill. According to Einstein, if a bullet could be shot from a gun with a velocity of 160,000 miles per second, due to its motion, the bullet would shrink to about half its previous length. Yes, and we may add that if the same bullet could be shot from a gun with a velocity greater than light, it would not only lose its length, but its other physical properties, and then exist as a bullet on the astral plane. Einstein's assertion that nothing can move faster than light is true of physical things. But to cover all phases of existence, it must be modified by the explanation that anything that moves faster than light is no longer physical, and therefore is not a thing according to Einstein's conception. For it then loses all its physical properties and acquires those of the astral world. The reason that light, radio, and other electromagnetic phenomena present so many difficulties in the way of explaining their behavior is that they have velocities intermediate between those of slow-moving physical substance and fast-moving astral substance. And it is because the gap between the velocity of physical substance and the velocity of astral substance is too great to bridge that the inner plane world affects the outer plane world, and the outer plane world affects the inner plane world, only through first imparting motion to electromagnetic energy, which has a velocity intermediate and thus can be directly influenced by and directly influence both the low velocity and the high velocity regions. But when we speak of velocities, we must not confuse these with the frequency of vibration. Although when vibratory frequencies of low velocity physical substance become high enough, they are able to influence electromagnetic energies, and when electromagnetic energies have certain frequencies, they are able to influence the high-velocity astral world. Vibratory frequencies of from about 16 per second to 30,000 per second, about 12 octaves in physical substance, can be distinguished by the human ear as a sound.